Hello everyone, this is Maher Al-Raham. Today we're going to continue with the fifth group, Sa'pas, of chapter 2, the third edition of the book. And it's made of 4 letters, Simkath, A, Pe, and Sade, together Sa'pas. The first letter of this group is Simkath, S in English. Sometimes it's pronounced as a Z when it proceeds by a letter with a vowel. For example, here Izba mean grass or field of grass or green field, and pronounced as a S. Izba, that's as a Z, and also pronounced as a Sade, S, as in san, if it follows by p or p, like in supra. Supra means chapter in the book. Okay. Also pronounced if it followed by resh, r, like pusra, sartana. Numeric value for Simkath is 60, ishti. So Simkath Waw is 66, is going to be Ishti Ishta. Simkath Beth, 62, Ishti Wutre. Simkath connect from both sides, and this is here how exactly we write Simkath, and I'm going to show you how we're going to write it, and also we're going to apply the vowel on this letter. Let me open to write Simkath. So to write Simkath is above the letter line here, and just to remind you, in English we write the uppercase B like this. Okay, Simkath is like a B laid down with the line coming down this way. Sometimes you will see people write it like this, just like me. So it's up to you how you're gonna write it. The thing I need you to know, this one is Simkath, and it is S sounds or S sounds in Surath. Okay, B with the like a tail, maybe we can say that. Okay, that is Simkath. It's the same for both uppercase and lowercase, and again is above the line. If you have lines in the notebook, that's how we're gonna write it. The sounds of Simkath is S without vowel. With the vowels Qapa, Sa, Thaha, Sa, Zlam Bshiqa, S, Zlam Qishya, Se, Rwasa, Su, Rwaha, So, and Hwasa, Si. Again, Sa, Sa, S, Se, Su, So, Si. Let's just practice some words are made from the letters we have covered so far, and try you too to start reading, because you should be able to read these words with the from what we have covered so far about letter. The first one is Satana, Satana, Susa, Asya, Basima. Basima has too many meaning. It depends on how you're using it in the word, and we're going to discuss this one later. But now Basima means delicious, to describe the taste of food. Bisma. Next one is Bisma. With the vowel sa, I have sawa, old man. Sa, I have two words, sartana, sepa. S, simbilta, simbilta. Se, sema. Su, two word, susta, that is a horse, female horse, and we learn here susa is a male horse. So susta, and the next one is suraya, Syriac man for male, and you can read here suraya, suryaya, and sometimes spelled like suraya without alap at the beginning on line. Also means Chaldean, Assyrian man. In our language, anyone speaks Surath, we call him Suraya. So Suraya. So, Sowina. Sowina. Beth has a dot underneath it, so the sound is W. Sowina. Si, Sa'ta. Next letter in this group, or the second letter of this group, is A. A has no sounds or letter compatible in English, so we're going to try to work around this letter to know how we're going to pronounce it. A. The sound is A. The name is A. And most likely is like slide EH, A. And this guy has two sounds in the spoken language. In a classic or classical language, ain, a, always is a sounds, never change the sounds. But in the spoken language, we have kind of, like accent, let's say, because the spoken language is another accent of the classical language. Here in the spoken dialogue, sometimes the letter A is pronounced alap, and have the same sounds of alap when has vowel or not. We learn that alap, if has no sound, if has no vowel, is silent. So the same thing with ain, if has no sounds and is pronounced like alap in the spoken language, is going to be silent. And I'm going to mention that a couple of times when we study this. In this case, when ain has the sounds alap, we will write it as ain, and do you see that line underneath it? So every time you see ain in this book and line underneath it, that means it is sounds of alap. Okay? And it's going to have the same rules as alap. No vowel is silence. With the vowel is going to take the sounds of that vowel. Okay? To make the difference between the two sounds, for example, how we say earth, it should be in a classical language, it should be ar'a. Ar'a. Do you hear the ar'a? But in a spoken language, because I have a single line underneath it, so it's going to be ar'a. Ar'a. Also, aida in the classical, aida, we say it in the spoken language, aida. Now, most likely, if you are not native speaker of this language, you prefer to say aida, rather than aida. And the reason is probably you never had in your native language, so is kind of hard to pronounce in most cases, just like other letters we have in this language. This is not a grammar, by the way. This is not a grammar having line underneath it. Okay, this is only to illustrate or to use this style to tell our reader for this book, this one has a special sounds in the spoken language using this book. You may have another book in Syriac. Probably most people, they're gonna put a big dot above or big dot under. Okay, that to change the sounds. It's something like every author of book has his own style or his own style to deal with that, to explain how and when we're gonna change the sounds of that letter. Okay, numeric value for Ain is 70, so it's gonna be, and 70 in Surah is Sho'i. Do you see Ain underline? So it should be Shaw'in. Okay, if I'm in the classical, it's Shaw'in, but I killed, or we silent the noon at the end, and also we change the Ain to A, so it's gonna be Sho'i. Do you hear that one? Sho'i, not Sho'i. It's Sho'i. So Ain Gamal 73 is Sho'i Utlatha. Sho'i Utlatha. Ain Hath is 78, Sho'i Utmaniya. Ain connect from both sides. Okay, it's not one of those unjoined. Here we're gonna start writing Ain, and also I'm gonna apply the vowel on it too. So keep this one open for you and look at me and practice with me too, writing Ain, to see how we're gonna write Ain. Okay, let me erase this guy. So Ain is above the line. We're gonna start with again, I don't mind how you're gonna write it. The only thing I need you to know, this is Ain. So I do like this, and then line coming from the bottom. It's above. Okay, this is Ain. Looks like an eye from side view. And that's how exactly they draw it. If you're going to read the first line of each letter, you're going to see how why is that shape. So Ain, if I want to make it sounds, I'm going to just put a line underneath it. That is not hard really to figure out or to put it. If I'm going to have Ain sounds without vowel is with a sqapa is a, with a pthaha with زلام بشيقة زلام قشية رواصة رواحة حواصة so Let's go back to the book and read some words made of the letters so far we have covered. The first one, Aina. Again, it should be Aina, but I have that line underneath the A, sounds as Aina. Eda. Inwe. Inwe. With the sqapa here line underneath it, so it sounds as tara. Tara. Here it sounds amuqa with a short a, amuqa. With Islam bshiqa short I, isiqtha or isiqtha, but I have line underneath it, so it's going to be isiqtha. Isiqtha. Eda. Umra. Sha'utha. Sha'utha. Izana. The next letter, the third letter in this group, group 5 or fifth group, is P. P is a P in English. And grammar, I have another grammar here, grammar 10. When a small semicircle is placed beneath the letter P, just like this one, do you see that semicircle underneath it? Now the sounds of P is going to change, and we're going to have the sounds of W again. So before we have B, Beth, B, and dot underneath it, give me W. Now I have another letter with a semi-circle underneath it, is giving me the W sounds too. So I have two letters, they give me W sounds when I have dot for Beth and semicircle for P in this case. And again, this one is a grammar just like a Beth when I have dot underneath it. This is nothing like, when I say grammar here, means apply on a classical and spoken language. Like in Nausha, you see, I did not say Napsha because the second one is a P or P. It should be Napsha, but I say Nausha. And also Rusha, shoulder. Rusha is wow, the sounds wow. It's not P. It's not going to be Rapsha or Rupsha. It's going to be Rusha. However, Rusha is in a spoken language. In a classical language is Kapta. It has another name, and we're going to come to that one later. Numeric value of P is 80, Tmana, or Tmani. So P Dalath 84, Tmani Arba. Sometimes you hear people for 80, they call it Tmana. Also some accents, okay, they have Tmana. So if I'm going to use Tmana with the 84, it's going to be Tmana u Arba. Tmani u Arba also is okay, fine, everyone understand you, it's just different accent, which is really is a common thing between the Syriac people. They have too many accents in the Eastern dialect, and the reason, as I mentioned before, we never had a chance to have media and schools, you know, due to the political issue we have as Syriac people with the countries we live with, either Arab people, Kurds people, Turkish, Irani people, or Persian people. All those we were not allowed to teach our language in the school. Okay, and another example, P and Wow, 86, Tmani, Ishta. The last one. P connects to any letter which follows it. So it's one of those that join from both sides. This is exactly how it's going to look like in a word. Now here is showing you how we're going to write P, but I'm going to just show you how we're going to do it. And this is the shape of P, so that's what I need from you to know. It's the shape and the sounds of this letter. Let's just move on again to how we're going to write this P. P is above the line again, nothing is down the line. And it's like a G, but you know, I'm not sure, maybe 9, the letter 9. Sometimes you used to write 9 like this one, but that is G, oh sorry, P or P in Surath, and does join from both sides. The sounds of P is P. With the Skapa, sounds is Pa. With the Pthaha, Pa. Zlamapshika, P. Zlamaqishya, P. Rwasa, Pu. رواحة po, حواصة p. Again, pa, pa, p, pe, pu, po, p. Practice more words with the letters we have covered so far. Puma, puma, mouth. We learned before another word for puma, which is kumma. Here another word for puma, and this is more used in the mountain dialect, puma, and also the classical word language is puma. Kumma is another word in the spoken language. Psasa, psasa. Malpana, that's a male teacher, malpana. How are we going to say female teacher? We're going to say malpanitha. And next chapter, in chapter 4, I'm going to introduce two grammars. One is about how we're going to form a feminine from a masculine name. And also we're going to talk about plural. Yosep, Yosep. I put the meaning in English. It should be Yosep written here, but Joseph is the meaning. Pila, Pila, elephant. You know that in Syriac we don't have, the Eastern dialect, we don't have the sounds of F, like a Frank. Most likely, P is sound sometimes F as well. And that is coming from the Western dialect, because in the Western dialect they don't have the sounds P. P sounds is F. So they're going to say fila. However, the skapa them, it's not A, it's filo. That's how they're going to say it. And the Arabic is fil. Okay, just for those they trying to understand if they have some background with other languages like Arabic. So pila, or most people sometimes you're gonna hear even with the Eastern dialect they're gonna say fila with the F. Pila is also better, but fila also works. Papa, papa, the last word. Here with the skapa, long A, pa, rpapa, rpapa, pa, I have two words, patikhta, patata, patata, p, putna. You see, sometimes putna, they say it with the F, is going to be futna, mean the wisdom. In Arabic also is using from this word futana. So it's most likely, again I told you that Arabic is made of the two dialects we have for Syriac, with some extra from Yemen country. So that were exactly they made up the Arabic language. Pe, perma, perma, pu, pulkhana, pulkhana, po, pocha, pi, pisha. The last letter in the fifth group is sade. Sounds of s, like in sun. I have no letter for sade in English. Numeric value for sade is 90, tish'i, tish'i. So sade alab is tish'i u kha, 91, tish'i u kha. Sade tayth, 99, tish'i u tish'a, tish'i u tish'a. Sade is one of those unjoined letter which does not join from the left. Again, to remind you, we are right to left language, and the language is a cursive language. We have 8 letters do not join from left. All of them, they join from right. So this is exactly how it's going to show in the word at the beginning, middle, if it's joined to the one before. At the end is joined to the one before or is standalone. By itself, it's going to look like this, just like a beginning. Here, how we're going to start using, or how we're going to draw Sade, I'm going to show you that one. And by the way, Sade, it goes under the line, but this one is a table line in Microsoft. I cannot write it underneath it. So something hard to do with Microsoft rules. I'm going to just go to digital board and start writing Sade. Okay, Sade is 2 parts. One part is above the line. The second part is underneath the line. The above the line is a small u, if you remember Yoth, just like Yoth. Okay, and then come like this one here up to the line and make an L shape, Lameth shape, underline. By the way, Sade is one of my favorite letters to write. I like the shape of Sade. So Sade is in this format. Sade sounds is S with the Skapa, Sa with the Pthaha, Sa with the Zlama Pshiqa, S, Zlama Qishya, Se, Rwasa, Su, Rwaha, sorry, should be the dot here. Let me erase that dot. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. Oh, erase everything. So let's just go back to this one. So Rwaha, So, and then Hwasa, Si. Let's just review this one again. Sa, Sa, S, Se, Su, So, Si. Back to book, and let's see some of these words we have made of the letters so far. Almost there, okay? Almost we covered every. We still have 4 more to go, 4 more letters, last group, but this could be make a very big number of words, but I have only 3 there. The first one is Salma. Salma, face. And also we have another word for face, Patha, Salma. Soma is a noun, Soma. And Sisla, Sisla. With a vowel, more words. Sa, Sasa. Sa, Sadwa or Sadwa. There's a dot underneath the Daleth, the second letter, so the sound is TH, Sadwa. Honestly, people, they say Sadwa or Sada in Arabic. S, Sisra, Sipra. Se, Sepraya, Sepraya. Su, Surta. So, Sositha. Si, Sima, the verb, Sima.